Good evening, gentle listener, and welcome to Distractible. This week, it's a boat and lotion lover's paradise. Bob asks the gents to reveal their inconsistencies to the world. Mark dislikes the many booted amongst the insect kingdom, and admits he gives out advice he can never take. Carnivorous Wade, most beloved on Reddit, is both the smartest and dumbest contestant again. From war-torn Portugal to endless bullshitting. Yes, it's time for Hypocrisy. Now sit back and prepare to be distracted and enjoy the show.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Distractible. I'm today's host, Wade. Why? Because Bob can't win. Welcome to the show where one of us hosts, the other two compete for points. Whoever has the most at the end wins, usually. That's what the host says happens. And we talk about whatever we want. As always, I'm joined by my co-hosts, Mark and Bob. Hi, guys.
Thanks for reminding me I can't win. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Here to make sure things stay fair.
Is this small talk time? It wasn't really prefaced or anything.
I just wanted the room to sit on that for a minute. But, yeah, we can small talk if you want, I guess. Go right for it.
I mean, it's a habit that we've developed for about 2 years now. I feel like if we didn't, actually longer if you think about it, but I don't know. We don't have to if you don't want to hear. I don't have to talk about anything.
Well, we should probably let the host decide that, shouldn't we?
That's what I was trying to do.
But I'm not the host today. The host today is Bob. You see, Mark, you stepped away last episode, and Bob and I had another handshake deal. To end his sad, miserable losing streak, I would pass my hosting duties and my win to him, and because you refused at the end of last episode, as is your right as host, I am doing it at the start of this episode, as is my right as host.
So what you've done is you've passed off all responsibility to come up with a topic for the episode, and not only have you given Bob no time to come up with a topic, you have sprung it on him mid-recording.
No, listen. He texted me
Tell him how long ago.
9 minutes ago while we were talking before I hit record and was like, hey, do you have an episode? And I thought about it for a second, and I responded, and I was like, well, do I need to have an idea, or are you giving me the host and an idea? And he was like, no, you host it. Just do your own episode.
Yes.
And I thought to myself, oh, no, I should come up with an episode idea. And then I thought, no, that's the bit, isn't it? Wade is springing this on me with no warning and with no time to prepare and no preparations whatsoever. I have nothing. I'm not prepared for this.
To be fair, you should have been, because I literally agreed with you last episode that I would give you this host.
I didn't remember that, and I thought you'd save it for more than a week or whatever. It was last episode.
No.
It's been, okay.
I slept soundly last night. I was like, tomorrow we're recording Distractible. I'm hosting for all of 30 seconds, and then it's Bob's.
So you knew this last night and could have texted me then.
Yes.
And been like, hey, just a heads up. Because I went to bed last night. Well, I didn't sleep that much, but I went to bed. I sat in a chair with a baby asleep on my chest thinking, I've got some ideas, but I won't have to host first, so I'll have time to think about them.
Exactly. But you know who doesn't have this problem? Mark.
Yeah, no, I'm free and clear. I still get to do the exact same thing I came here to do, which is nothing.
Well, here's the hosting crown. There you go, Bob.
I'm not taking that. Viewer listeners may be surprised to know, given the quality and content of some of the previous episodes of this podcast, but normally there is actually some amount of planning and forethought before we just hit record. But today I have one word, and we're going to get to that word, and that's going to be my topic for the episode. It's going to be a very old school Distractible episode. But I, as host, do want to do small talk. So I would love to know, Mark, how are you?
I'm good. I'm very tired, but I'm back home. I've been settling in, been home for about a week, getting into the edit of, Iron Lung, which can be talked about now. So,
not secret anymore.
Very nice.
It does feel like a bad word every time I almost say it, or I do say it. I'm like, yeah, that Iron Lung.
Yeah, no. But it's been weird being back. It's weird to go from immediately filming every day to suddenly not having that obligation. And it's weird how suddenly, when there's no external pressure, you get really lazy. You get really, really lazy. Sit around, relax.
You say that, but I find that hard to believe. When you're in the midst of working on editing anything, when you're working on Space, when you were working on Who Killed Markiplier, You work like you're possessed, and I'm sure that you're like recovering still, but I imagine when you really get into the meat of working on this, you're gonna be working obsessively and like waking up at 6 every day. And
Like a rabid wolf tearing at a rabbit.
Well, kind of a little bit. But I haven't been able to tear at that rabbit because I have to be patient. There's a lot of file management and transferring that has to occur, and I've got to like get footage knocked over because it's a very large amount of footage, more than I've ever dealt with before. These files are just massive.
look, all you gotta do is copy it from the SD card to an external hard drive, open that bitch in iMovie, and start working, Mark. Calm down.
After having it delivered in a big safe by 2 guys with aviators and an earpiece that fly it in on a helicopter.
I mean, that's actually not a joke. When I get these transferred, because I need to send a copy to my editors just to help for organizational purposes, because I'm doing the edit, but it's like I'm not good at doing handoffs for VFX production purposes because my organizational system is terrible. So everyone on my team needs a copy of the raw files, but I don't trust shipping them, so I'm going to have Evan fly to them.
Are you gonna handcuff the briefcase to him?
Really, yeah, and because Alexian's in Portugal, I'm gonna say, Evan, you fly to Portugal for a few days. Just make sure you drop off that hard drive first.
I'm sure that Evan is so sick of us at this point that he does not listen to this podcast. But I hope someone just like gets that clip and tweets it at him or something, and he opens it and is like,
Dude, can't wait to go to the NBA Finals next week. What am I doing?
I don't remember having that conversation. That's so crazy. A podcast just told me I'm going to Portugal.
My very own wedding is today, and hold on, Mark's calling? I'm going where? Right now?
Wait, why do you act like Portugal's some war-torn apocalypse land? It's a
far.
lovely place with beautiful vistas.
There's nothing bad about Portugal, but it's not like driving over to the next neighborhood.
You just have to get into a SpaceX crew capsule, launch on the Falcon 9 into suborbit, and then do a gravitational boost to make... It's a faraway planet, Portugal. You gotta...
Yeah. He'll never see his family or soon-to-be wife again for this mysterious wedding that he is going to miss.
Yeah. A lot of undiscovered species in Portugal.
The NBA Finals, the Never Be Alone Again Finals, also known as a wedding.
Those will probably... I don't know when those are happening. I think they usually end in June.
Playoffs are happening right now. I know that because they happen at the same time as hockey.
But I know for a fact Evan was going to the game that'll have to now cancel. And Evan... There you go.
Well, I'm glad we got small talk about Mark and Evan's lives, and I guess we can talk about Wade if we want. What's going on with you? What's new? What feels good? And how does it smell?
I like sleep. I like that tax season's over with. I don't know. It's nice that summer's back, dude. You know what's great about summer? Water and boats. And I don't get boats, but I would like boats. Do you guys know I like boats? Because I do like boats. And I want to boat, but I don't have a boat.
When was the last time you were on a boat?
In a while. 4 or 5 years.
I mean, it's not that long, but also, what kind of boat was it? Was it when we crossed the English Channel from wherever to wherever else?
Technically, that boat might have been more recent. I don't remember exactly when it was, but no, my family had property down in Kentucky and like down on Lake Cumberland, and my grandpa had a pontoon that we always used to use, and it's still in the family. It's kind of a property no one lives on now, so we'll just go down there and use it from time to time. But just timing wise, our busiest time for like the tours and for Molly and I getting married and everything else, just summer always seems to be the busiest time of year for projects and things. So I never have time to go down there and just boat.
You just talk so much about boats. I'm just surprised that you don't make...
I like boat.
You went on a vacation in the last month to the ocean. I'm pretty sure, if I recall correctly, you can get boats on the ocean. You didn't boat at all. You made no effort to boat. I just think it's really weird.
No, I blew my load on the Airbnb, so no money left for boat.
You just talk so much about boats, but I guess I just don't
I would
believe
love...
you.
I've never been on an ocean boat.
I think you're a boat poser.
I'm not a bozer.
I mean, it seems like you're a bozer if you aren't boating on a regular basis. What are you doing?
Talk about boats like you own a boat, and you don't even try to own a boat.
I've never thought about trying to own boat because boat place I like too far for often boat.
You can tell he's lying because he talks like that.
You know, if you actually liked boats, you'd make time for boats, but you just don't.
if you really like boats, you could live somewhere where you could boat, but instead you live in Cincinnati. And you're constantly telling us that we should move to Cincinnati.
There's water in Cincinnati.
But there's no boats on that water, is there?
I think there are boats on the Ohio River, I'm pretty sure.
Where's your boating, Wade? How are you going to tell us to move to a place bereft of boats?
I don't have to tell you all to move to that place, because whenever we did the wheel episode, that episode made you guys come back. Mark spun the wheel. It was out of my hands.
I don't know. That wheel started changing at random times, and I don't even know if any of it was valid.
Yeah, no, we talk about fairness a lot on this podcast, but I have to say I don't think that was fair.
Oh, it was. I made the wheel, and I was the host, therefore I know it was fair.
But I'm the host now. And as far as I know, you've relinquished your right to host for eternity to me, and you will never be a host again until I allow it.
That's fair. But past host is like locked in tough to break into material I can't think of name of. So therefore safe from new host alteration.
I don't know what's going on with you and your brain right now.
Tough to break into material. Well, he's got me there. He's got me there. All right. What an awkward small talk, and somehow it ended with me being host. Hooray for us. So I said at the beginning of my hosting thing here that I have a word, and that's my entire concept. I have nothing planned for this. We're just going to talk about this word because I think it'll be interesting. Are you ready, kids?
Maybe.
Yes.
I was really hoping for an aye, Captain, but we'll take it.
Aye, Captain!
Today's topic... I almost said host. Today's host is me. Today's topic is hypocrisy.
Aye, Captain!
No, that's over. All right, hypocrisy. Look,
Hypocrisy.
What made me think of this,
Did I feel targeted?
Wade thinking that he was doing something funny and clever and also doing me a favor by relieving me of my losing streak, which I don't even know if that counts. I guess it counts. So you gave me your win. So you lose a win
It's
and
a
I
pity
gain a
win.
win.
Yeah, there's an asterisk by it.
Okay, well, it was very hypocritical of you because what you actually handed me was a big pile of responsibility and hosting duties.
Oh, come on, man.
And I feel like hypocrisy is kind of a part of, I don't know, our brand of comedy.
Who I am.
Oh, well, I'm not going to say it's only you. I think all three of us do our fair share.
Well, you might as well just paint the picture. It's been me, hypocrisy, the whole time.
All right, Wade's a big stinking hypocrite. This episode is just a judgment on Wade. Let's use this as a platform to attack Wade openly and repeatedly. But I think hypocrisy is an interesting thing. I think life is filled with hypocrisies, and they range in size and seriousness from, well, Wade, you said this since we're picking on you. You would never harm a living creature. You would not hunt and kill your own food, but you do eat meat. You enjoy meat very much.
Love it. Couldn't live without it.
So you love animals enough to not hurt them, but not enough to not eat them. Stuff like that. Like life is filled with stuff like that. Do we collectively, and each of us individually, have any hypocrisies that we live with that you feel like come up a lot, or that you find, I don't know, funny, concerning? I think a big one for me is also, I'm in the same boat as you, Wade. I'm really not a hunter. If I had to survive, I would struggle to kill something and then clean it and eat it.
I feel guilt killing bugs.
Well, it depends on the bug, right? There's some bugs that deserve a horrible burning death.
Which ones are those, Mark?
Anything with more than 20 legs, I feel automatically deserves horrifying deaths.
Wait, what did a centipede ever do to you?
House centipedes kill other bugs. They have a lot of legs, and they are not unless they get real big, they can't hurt humans, and they kill other bugs.
And they keep the bug shoe companies in business.
They don't wear shoes, man. They don't wear shoes, and that's just a capitalistic thought process. You need to get that out of your gourd. I'm talking about silverfish. Nope, none of them. There's various other centipedes there's all kinds. Millipedes, if it's got under 1,000 but over 20 legs, it deserves death. Millipedes are okay. They're cute. They're cute.
I feel like you're targeting a very specific bug. You're like, if you got more than 20 legs, but less than the ones I like, if you are a silverfish, you deserve death.
Is my specificity a problem in my hypocrisy? I'm trying to give a very good example, and you're like, your example's too distinct, too clarified. I can imagine what you're talking about so well. How dare you?
I feel like you're just being mean to bugs with lots of legs, but not too many legs.
Well, I was going off of what Wade was saying about, like, he feels bad about getting bugs, but I was saying, like, some bugs deserve death.
You're just saying that all centipedes are sociopaths who deserve to die because they're bad bugs.
Pretty much.
Not for any greater reason, just that you know that they're not good.
They're not good. All of them.
But even then, like, I'll kill a mosquito. If it's on me and biting me, that thing dies. But then it's like, am I going to hell?
Is there a voice in the back of your head that's like, yes? And then you're like, no.
Yeah, there's like a little like apathetic dude who pops up on my shoulder. He's like, that might have been bad, man. I don't know. See ya. And he poofs away before I can talk to him.
Your conscience is just indifferent. Stoned all the time.
You don't have a devil and an angel. You have one apathetic guy.
He's a right shoulder guy too.
All right. Well, Mark, do you have any blaring hypocrisies that you live with on a daily basis? I don't know. How do you feel about this as a topic?
I'm sure I do.
You can pass if you want to.
There's many times when people ask me for like advice and stuff, and I give advice that does work. Like for ADHD stuff, I'll give advice like, there's various things you can do. The best thing is obviously to wake up and not look at your phone. But God damn it, what's the first thing I do when I wake up? Is I look at my phone. I've tried to do the thing where you have your phone in a different room, but then I get the nightmare scenario. I'm like, what if someone needs to call me in the middle of the night and they're dying and they need my help? But that's also a problem because I always have night do not disturb on, and I make sure my phone's as silent as possible on the ringing. So it's not like I would hear it anyway.
Classic faux FOMO.
Yeah, exactly. So there's hypocrisy there. I know it's like I should get up, and meditation is the first thing you should do. You should get up and work out. Do I do those things? Sometimes, not always. I don't know. It's just like there's many hypocritical things where it's like I give advice and I tell myself the advice that I should do all the time, but I don't. So that's hypocrisy.
I fall prey to the classic "do as I say, not what I do" motif a lot too.
All right, I should have planned this out better if only I'd had time. I'm realizing something about this approach to this topic, and I want to change it. Thinking about your own hypocrisy is sad. You think about things that you don't like about yourself, things you wish you didn't do. What if we analyze each other's hypocrisies? And start with me. I am not throwing anyone else under the bus first. We could do this as an experiment. I know that there must be things that you could point out about which I am hypocritical, or which are hypocritical around me. And like an inaccurate thing that people on the internet always refer to me as the nice one of our group somehow, even though I feel like I'm the least nice one most of the time and in many situations, but somehow I have a reputation. Come at me. Nothing is too low. I challenge you.
Oh no. Okay. All right. Well, that just seems mean. Not that I have anything like just...
He's like too mean.
Oh, it's so mean.
Let me think here.
It's difficult because you guys are both so honest with your flaws. Like, I can't call out too much as hypocritical. Wade, I would just say like you and your tech inhibition is self-admitted, and your refusal to change and adapt to new mediums and formats and stuff like that, you openly admit, and honestly you own and make it a part of your identity. So it's like that's not hypocritical.
Stop trying to hit me and hit me.
Your flaws are too open. Now, Bob, it's the same way. You openly admit your issues as well. And you recently got diagnosed for ADHD, which is a step in the right direction, so you haven't even opened the door to hypocrisy yet.
I do hypocritical things. All right, look, let me call my own self out then and see what you guys think about this. I constantly berate both of you in the context of this podcast and in other places about when you are clearly lying. We all lie to each other. Sometimes it's for a bit. Sometimes it's because we're trying to like win or whatever. I always call that out, and I'm frequently belligerent about it, right? If someone says a lie, I will yell at you that you're lying and that you're a sack of shit, so on and so on. I think I lie as much or more as both of you combined. I constantly lie about assertions I make. I'll just say stuff out of my ass, and then just because I say it confidently, sometimes you guys don't even call me out. I'll just get away with it.
You've always been that member of our group. I don't know. Even whenever I first started joining for Drunk Minecraft, there was something special about you. You were like the untouchable member of Drunk Minecraft. Mark and I could beat the shit out of each other verbally or in game all the time. But like, my mindset was like, just don't piss off Bob. Get Bob to side with you. It was never go after Bob. It was get Bob on your side. You were the one to like, hey, come help me beat the fuck out of Mark. And Mark was always like, yeah, Bob, let's beat the fuck out of Wade, you stupid piece of shit. It was always like, you were the guy that we wanted on our side to beat the fuck out of the other one. I don't know why, but you were always the untouchable one. It was, we could never go after Bob.
I believe that's called gaslighting. He's the king of gaslighting. He's the background manipulator, which is like why I'm wondering why you didn't go into like the big Among Us phase, unless you did. Did you? You
No,
didn't.
I hate that game. I hate that very
game
much.
too.
Because people suspect you of doing that there. Outside of it, he can get away with it.
No, I will say,
brilliant.
the whole Among Us craze, I think that game is garbage because nobody plays it honestly. The thing about Among Us is, if you go into it and from the word go, you're trying to cause problems, even if you're on the side of the non-evil people, even if you're not a traitor and you're like being suspicious on purpose, it's random. It's random bullshit. You have to go in earnestly, and like, I would constantly be like, hey, what's up? Yeah, I'm just doing this. I'm clearing the trash. And people will be like, are you clearing the trash? That took way too long. That's not how long it takes to clear the trash. Why are you saying? And I'm like, I get that you're suspicious of everyone, but I'm honestly, like, I'm trying not to be suspicious. And like, there's no moment in that game where you can ever just think that anyone's doing anything sincerely. It's not fun for just random bullshit to happen. And at the end of the game, you're like, oh, well, this person was actually not a traitor, but they helped the traitors the whole time. And it's like,
The game was fun early on, but once everyone got established, knew what they were doing, and had like their I'ma just fuck around mindsets, it got that way. I will say, I had a moment where I was the traitor. I got pretty much caught red-handed killing somebody. And in the meeting, someone was like, yeah, Wade was near this person. And I was like, all right, you got me. I spawned in. I went down to try to kill someone in electrical. No one was there. So I came back around, went into the meeting room, saw so-and-so by the thing, killed him, went to walk out of the room. You walked in and saw me. And they were like, okay, so he's not the traitor. Then who did it? And I was like, I literally did it. That's how it happened. They're like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. You're just trying to die. No, it must have been someone else. And nobody voted for me. I then won the match, and everyone couldn't believe how brilliant I was just telling them how I did the kill. So sometimes honesty won in that game.
No, I totally understand. Like, it's very much that mindset where when you do the streamer life and the streamer grind set, and you're on hour 800 of your thousands Among Us game, and you know every single frame of every single animation in there, and you know exactly where your mouse needs to be for every pixel. I just, anytime you get to that I hesitate to say the term good at a game, it does kind of ruin the fun for everybody.
Well, and then there's like the whole winning aspect versus having fun aspect.
And maybe I'm too deceitful of a person, because everyone always suspects me in games like that where you can lie, and that's the whole thing. People tend to suspect me, right? Because they're like, oh, he's a good liar. And sometimes I do just make the choice where I'm like, I'm going to be purely, earnestly good and not deceive anyone. And the whole time I answer honestly, but people don't, I don't know. It's hard to enjoy that because I feel like, oh, I'm playing a role, and everyone's just like, I think this for no apparent reason. You're evil. And then it's like, why do I even talk? You don't listen to me. Anyway.
You know what? Among Us is hypocritical. It calls itself Among Us, but there's no us. It's always I versus them and you. It should be called Among I. Hypocritical game. Right, guys? Did I do it?
No, I don't think so, man. Just like people in Among Us when they're accusing others. You're a hypocritical.
Wait, guys, don't vote me. No.
What if we talk about hypocrisies in the world? Huh? Are there hypocrisies in the world that bother you? Huh?
Me.
Things that happen, things that come up, that just grind your gears? Huh?
Yeah, some of them I don't know if I want to talk about on the podcast. All right, I'm gonna dive into it. I have one example that's bothered me my whole life. I grew up with two different religions in my family, and I had some religious friends with religious families. And I know some very, very wonderful religious people that are very devout, and they very biblical, very sweet, and like they are purely good people. But there are a lot of people that cling on to religion and use it as an excuse to do like other shit. I had a friend growing up, who I won't name, who did a bunch of shit that I was like, man, for trying to push religion on me an awful lot, you're an awful like shithead. And they were like, dude, it's okay. You fuck up now. And then you just ask for forgiveness. It's like hall pass. You get away with it, dude. And I was like, is that how that works? There are people that legit believe you could do whatever and then go say like a Hail Mary, and it's like, yeah, I killed that guy, but I'm sorry. And they're like, oh, he said he's sorry. Oh, come here. Fuck that guy. Like, that drives me nuts when people have like a belief like that, where it's like, it's okay, man. I can be a shit person. I'm religious. All I gotta do is say, sorry, Dad, and I'm back in heaven. I don't know, just stuff like that, where people find an excuse to justify being shit because they're like, I'll just say sorry later. Like, whether it's religious or not, religious is what comes to mind because that kind of stuff happens. But there's also people that are just, they'll intentionally fuck up or do something to piss somebody off, and they'll be like, it's okay, they'll forgive me, give them like a few days, so they'll get over it. I don't know, stuff like that is always just like, or you could just not be shit right now. But they are.
I mean, yeah, but I'm more focused on just like what a hall pass can actually do to, like, what privileges do the hall pass really give you that you can get away with things?
You can go into the hall without getting in trouble.
And then there's no rules.
Because you have a pass for it, Mark.
You clearly never had a hall pass.
You get the key to the city. That's just a bigger hall pass so that you can do whatever you want in the city. When you get the Congressional Medal of Honor, that's actually a nationwide hall pass that you can go anywhere and do whatever you want.
You can go into the hall.
The halls of America.
Oh my God.
Can I admit that for until an age that's too old and too embarrassing to actually admit, but until a relatively old age, I thought for a long time that the key to the city thing was more of a real thing and less of a symbolic thing. Like I was always like, man, is there really like one key that can just open any lock? Like, how do they do that? Just technologically.
Everyone's house, one particular key. It's like, I want that house. Like, well, shit it.
Yeah, it seems like a security issue, right?
Yeah, well, it definitely does.
It's metaphorical. It's like the key to the city is just like a trophy. Although I do think if you get the key to the city, you have a pretty strong argument to basically bust out any door you want. Like kick in the door and there's a family
and bring your plaque with you everywhere.
Yeah, like you kick in the door and then you enter the house and you're like, hey, how's it going? And everyone in the house is like, why are you in our house? What the fuck? And you just be like, they gave me the key to the city, so I'm allowed. I can open any door I want with this key.
Honestly, if someone burst into my house, but they had the big golden key, and they were like, nah, sorry, man, I got the key. And I was like, oh, shit, all right, go ahead. Like, it's yours as much as mine, I guess. I would give that a little credence, and I think a lot of people might be like, all right, I guess. That really was there's many things in our childhood that are just like, seemed like they would be more prevalent. And the key to the city thing, I don't know where it started with, but man, I want that more now. I want that hall pass.
I'm not going to lie. I've always been fuzzy on what the actual key to the city. I never thought it was a literal key, but it was like, do I get like a free hotel? Do I get like just to shake someone's hand? What is the symbolic meaning of key to the city? What does that represent? I know nothing about. I've never looked it up. I could easily go Google search this.
I'm not going to look it up. We can look it up after. But it's like an award, right? It's like the mayor of a city doesn't have a lot of things to offer people, but if someone does something heroic or saves a bunch of people in a building
or puts on a really good rock show,
you just like, we give you the key to our city as a sign of our trust and admiration. And it's like a metaphorical award, right?
I've found it. So key to the city is a derivative of the original term freedom of the city, which is an honor bestowed by a municipality upon a valued member of the community or upon a visiting celebrity or dignitary, arising from the medieval practice of granting respected citizens freedom from serfdom. Because originally, in those times, you were a serf and you were born into servitude, and you were not technically entirely free, and so the title of free man or freeman would be granted, in the idea of freeman of the city would be like, you actually do get to have freedom amongst the city. And then it evolved from that, where you would be presented to a key to the city as a symbol of your freedom, and then it evolved into key to the city.
Interesting. So if you get a key to the city, you get to own serfs? That's great.
Wow. See, you're hypocritical in that you actually do listen. And I know you listen all the time. And you just pretend to be an idiot. And I know that's true because it's a skill to play the fool.
Thank you.
But it's so hypocritical because sometimes you double down on your dumbness and everyone believes like, oh, he's inept and stuff like that. But you're not.
Look, can I just say, I think this is piling on to one that bothers me. I read the subreddit a lot, and it's not limited to the subreddit, but I'm going to focus on the subreddit. So subreddit, Distractible subreddit. Suck it. You're a bunch of hypocrites because you all worship Wade as being the smartest of the three hosts.
You pieces of shit.
Every time he has a new episode, you're like, oh, Wade hosts the best episodes. Oh, Wade's so smart. And then every time he acts stupid or is stupid, I think he covers it up sometimes and plays it off. But you're all, oh, Wade's so funny. He's the fool. But you all, it's hypocritical somehow, I think. Now that I'm explaining it, it feels less hypocritical and more like I'm just mad about it. But I'm pretty sure that's hypocritical. You can't simultaneously worship a man for being a genius and worship a man for being the funny fool who never knows what's happening, the hapless idiot who just says stuff and you're all, haha, Wade. That's funny.
Dude, you can have a high wisdom and a low int. I'm just saying.
That's not what they're saying.
Yeah, I don't think that's
They're saying that your topics are smart, that they're well thought out.
Sorry, I was too stupid to understand what you were saying.
No, see, no, he's doing it again, Mark. He's doing that thing he does.
He's doing it away. He's doing it again.
Anyway, that's hypocritical, I think. Not really less confident now than I was when I started that idea, but I'm mad about it.
No, you didn't even have to explain. You just go like the Reddit is hypocritical and like it's true. You don't even need to expound any further.
This is true.
When have they ever been on our side, Bob? When have they never? They've never been on our side.
That's true. I have to say, I was kind of thinking everyone would jump to my defense with my recent losing streak, and that people would be like, "Wow, that's crazy. We should root for Bob." No, not a single. There were lots of posts where like, "Wow, Bob has terrible luck."
You guys just aren't as smart and or dumb as me. You guys live your lives in like the 75th percentile of smart, whereas I'm in the 90th percentile of both. I am all. I am everything. I am nothing.
You're that meme that's like the same opinion on the lower end and the higher end of the IQ scale, and we sit in the majority. We just don't see.
I am Ohio, baby.
I don't even know what that means.
Ah, I get it.
Because everything is Ohio now, and I am Ohio. Ohio is me, but Ohio is nothing and kind of hated. But it's also everywhere and loved.
I thought you were talking about how it's low on the ends and high in the middle.
Yeah, that would be a smart way to look at it. That's what I was really trying to say.
Was that not what you were going at? The IQ graph being low on the ends and high in the middle? Is that actually not what you were getting at?
Of course I was. Or wasn't. You'll never know.
No, that's why I'm asking.
Now dance, puppet, dance.
This is where it falls apart for me. I gotta be honest. If that wasn't on purpose set up, you really had us going. But then you gotta land the plane. You crash the plane into the setup, and then I don't know what to think. Whatever it is, it's probably hypocritical. So suck it.
There's an anime that reminds me of my life, and I've not seen it, but I played about 20 minutes of the mobile game of it. It's called like Eminence and Shadow, the mobile game I think is, or whatever. I know nothing about the actual anime other than like the little cutscenes. But the main character, from what I can gather, I'm probably told I'm wrong, but the main character seems to be a person who like wants to be like some kind of like shadow lord, like the host of some shadow organization who like takes over the world or runs the world from the shadows or something. But he's really kind of ignorant and stupid. But he'll say something like off the cuff, like, well, you can't dance 2 toes if you got 3 feet. And he'll just say something stupid like that. And then like something happens where like a 3-footed man will appear with 2 toes on each feet who ends up like trying to take over something and then failing. And like this dude's underlings are like, my God, Shadow saw this coming. He's so smart. And they'll go to him and tell him, and he's like, in his brain, he'll be like, there was a 3-footed man with 2 toes on each foot. That's crazy. They'll be like, yeah, I knew that was a thing. Like, he'll just bullshit. He's a master of bullshit, but his bullshit ends up always being true. And I feel like I've lucked my way into life bullshitting a lot of time. And somehow it just always works out for me, somehow. It doesn't make sense and I don't deserve it, but it works. And that's me.
We don't just believe you, though, is the thing.
It doesn't matter if you do. That's the beauty of it.
But it
doesn't matter. It still works out.
No, your example was completely opposite of though, because you're very rarely ever right. And you said that guy was right.
Yeah, like,
so it's like not you at all.
It doesn't.
Subreddit, tell us how it's like me.
Mark, you know what the key is to being happy and successful in life? I figured it out. I just learned this from Wade.
Okay.
Ignore whatever outcomes you face, no matter what in something. No matter if you're wrong, right, whatever. People make fun of you. People are on your side. You convince people you don't. Ignore that outcome. And what happens in life knowing that the world is whatever you believe it to be. That's the key to Wade's happiness and success. No matter what we say, he's never going to be swayed. He's never going to be insulted him or that we're calling him out on anything, because in his mind, all he gets from us is positive affirmations and total agreement in the end.
Is that what he hears?
It seems like it, doesn't it? I swear to God.
He's got pyro vision, but of the ears, where it's like, yeah, I pulled that one off.
Sometimes he says stuff, and you and I are like, no, that's not right at all. And he's just like, yeah.
Hook, line, and sinker.
I convinced those guys.
I'm glad we all agree on this.
I think Wade, you laid your hypocrisy bare with your example, and I think like even that has somehow in your mind inverted into a solid win.
Yeah, it still worked. It 100% worked. Wade's method never fails. I kind of understand it now.
I can fill a swimming pool with just the W's I've had today, man.
Common Wade W. That's all it is. That's all it ever is. Guys, hypocrisy was a terrible topic.
No.
Look, I don't want to be really meta about this, and I've done this before. Before it was an accident. This time I feel like it's not entirely my fault. I'm disappointed with how it went. The key to the city discussion was way better than any hypocrisy discussion. We should really focus on keys to the city.
No. I know the answer. I'll turn to ChatGPT.
There we go.
How can I stop my friend from being so hypocritical?
Okay.
Probably murder. You can kill me.
Dealing with a hypocritical friend can be frustrating, but there are some things you can try to address the situation. Here's some suggestions. Have an honest conversation. It's essential to communicate your feelings and concerns with your friend in a calm and non-judgmental way. Explain how their behavior is affecting you and why you believe it's hypocritical. Try to use I statements instead of you. Be a good role model. Sometimes people don't realize they're being hypocritical. By leading by example, you can show your friend that it means to be consistent and authentic. Encourage self-reflection. Wade, I feel like I's friend is being hypocritical. Look at how unhypocritical I am. I'm such a good role model. Wade, you should look in the mirror and think about your hypocritality. If your friend continues to act hypocritically, gently challenge them on it. I challenge you to be more hypocritical.
I will eat more meat and kill less animals.
If your friend's behavior continues to bother you and they're unwilling to change, you may need to set some boundaries on your own well-being. It could mean spending less time with them or avoiding certain topics of conversation.
Fuck off, dude. See you later. I've reached the Zen state of main character status where I'm unapologetically me. Deal with it. No, I could go for some meat. I've been craving barbecue lately.
I don't think AI holds the keys.
Oh, AI holds the key, but it's not the key to the city. It's the key to the shitty. You guys can have that one. You can use it later. It's fine.
Is that another Wade dub to add to the dub pool?
It's raining dubs. I need a dub-brella. God, I got a hat with my name on it for all these dubs.
What is that? Salty boy's friend?
This is really dusty and gross.
I got a poem about hypocrisy.
Read it.
You talk the talk, but do you walk the walk? You say one thing, then do another. Hypocrisy, my friend, is a two-faced lover. You preach about equality and justice for all, but behind closed doors, you climb a social wall. You say you stand for what's right and true, but your actions tell a different view. You're like a wolf in sheep's clothing, pretending to be a champion of the people, but we can all see your lies and your deceit, your double standard game. We're on to you, friend. We know your name. You can't fool us with your fancy words. We see through your facade of turds. It's time to wake up and face the facts. Hypocrisy is a poison and it's time to act. So take a look in the mirror and see the hypocrisy that lies inside of thee. It's time to be honest, time to be true. It's time to live the life you preach and do.
Did you call me a shithead in the middle of that and just like play it off?
Yeah, no, that was quite the line. That was...
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's like, you can't fool us with your fancy words. We see through your facade of turds. So I'm like, that's pretty good.
Dude, what a great way to call someone a shithead. I see through your facade of turds. I love that. That's the one thing I got out of your poem, Mark, is a way to call people shitheads.
That'll stick with me for a long time. Is this helping, Bob?
Yes, no, that's exactly what we needed.
Excellent.
I really didn't mean for it. Somehow we've landed on the entire overarching theme of this episode. It's just that Wade's a huge hypocrite. Is that the conclusion?
Oh, dude, hit me. I handed over hosting responsibilities, and I knew that by giving you no time to prepare, that I was putting myself on the fryer, and I'm ready for the burns. I'm not a masochist either, but God, hit me.
Wait, Bob, I have something to say to you. I just really thought of it just now.
Okay.
And it's I think you're really going to feel better after let me think about it a little more. All right? Hey there, friend. I know you're feeling down about your chosen topic for this episode of our podcast, but I want you to know that you have something important to say and your perspective is valuable. It's easy to doubt ourselves and our ideas, but I believe in you. You've put in the time and effort to research and prepare for this episode, and that's no small feat. You're passionate about this topic, and that passion will shine through in your delivery. Remember, the beauty of a podcast is that it allows us to explore different topics and share our own unique perspectives with the world. Your voice deserves to be heard, and I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
So, Brett, do you hear the nice things Mark says to Bob and the fact he called me a shithead in a poem? Please pity me in the subreddit comments. Thank you.
Hey, you can't appreciate his swift and beautiful phraseology, but then also call it out for being negative. It can't be both things. You were impressed. It's a good thing. You were impressed by it. You know what, Mark? I have a response in the form of a closing statement about this quote-unquote episode. Hypocrisy could be a destructive force in any relationship, including friendship. When someone claims to value honesty, loyalty, and integrity, but then behaves in ways that contradict those values, it can erode trust and create a sense of betrayal. Wade.
I wasn't listening.
This is especially true in close relationships.
I have a delivery. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. There's a delivery that needs to be signed for.
And you guys are on me for being the shit friend he left in the middle.
This is especially true in close relationships like friendship. You know what? There's 2 more paragraphs of this.
Well, he's gone. You want to make a handshake deal of some kind?
Yeah, I was just thinking, is there something we could do that's not going to cause me problems in the imminent future? And never mind. Ultimately, the key to avoiding hypocrisy in friendships is to approach them with a sense of openness and authenticity. By being true to yourself and your values, you can build stronger and more meaningful connections with others based on mutual respect, trust, and understanding. Right, Mark?
Sure.
That's totally right.
You agree with everything I just said, right, Mark?
I do.
Anything that happened before you left and while you were gone, anything I said at all during all of that time period, you agree wholeheartedly with it, right? Because you were listening.
I'm going to go ahead and say yes, because I know no matter what, you guys are my friends. And I have this one more thing to say to you, Bob.
Oh.
And I think this is really gonna tie it all together. Well, look who's feeling a little shy about their chosen topic for our podcast. Don't worry, sugar. You've got nothing to be ashamed of. Sure, your topic might not be the cat's meows or the bee's knees, but it's got potential. You just gotta put a little pizzazz on it, a little razzle-dazzle, and it'll be the talk of the town. So put on your big boy pants, get behind that microphone, and show them what you're made of. You got this, kid. You're going to knock this episode out of the park, see?
That would have been so much more helpful at the beginning of the episode, but I really appreciate the sentiment.
I've got a generated thing too, but I generated it myself because I'm too lazy to chat GPT, so I'm going to read you this poem I came up with. You guys are shit, and I am great. This episode, though, is running late. It's time to end and say goodbye. Now see my face and lick my thigh. That's it.
Pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Well, I choose to end it with the poem. I will announce the winner and end the episode in the form of a poem. You're welcome. Mark spoke with power and with grace. His words set the studio ablaze. Those don't rhyme. He brought his A-game to the show and left the others in the throes. His ideas flowed like a river strong. His voice was clear, his logic long. He left us all in awe and wonder. Mark had won. That's not a blunder.
Did I win? Yay!
I gotta be honest, I didn't keep points. I was not interested in keeping points. Mark won from the moment you made me host this episode with minutes of warning. That's just how it is.
Well, you're welcome for the win, Bob.
You were trying to get out of hosting duties, so I assumed you didn't want to host. If you really want me to pin it right back on you, we can do that. But
Oh no, I was literally just honoring our handshake agreement from the last episode that we talked about that I thought you'd remember. Where you said, literally, if Mark refuses to hand this over to me, you can always do it at the beginning of your host. And I said, yeah, I'll do that.
I didn't think it meant that you were going to do it for this episode. I thought you were just going to do that at some point in the future.
I'm a man of my word. I might be a hypocrite, but I'm an honorable one.
Well, it really worked out, and I'm sure everyone enjoyed this episode very, 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 very much, right?
What did I agree to while I was gone?
Don't worry about it. Mark is the winner of the episode. Congratulations. Wade, I don't have a poem for you. You just lose. Thanks for making this happen. I'm sure everyone is very grateful that this was the way the episode went. Do you have a loser speech?
Yes.
It's not allowed to be poems.
Oh. Well, this ending sucks, and I'm sad about it. But, just like, this episode, your judgment was bad. Thanks for having me.
Ow. Well, that was hurtful.
Yeah, but you know I don't mean it, or I do.
I
it's one of the two. I actually really enjoyed this episode. And if I'm being frank, I actually really did enjoy this episode. I thought it was fun. Having Mark just beat my ass for like 10 minutes actually felt good. So go for it, Bob.
When did I do that?
I'm confused. Mark, as the agreeer and winner of this episode, and I will definitely hold you to all that stuff we talked about. Do you have a winner speech?
I do. I am so glad I got through this episode without any of my hypocrisy being called out. It was never mentioned once, and I skated through this episode with no criticisms to my character or person at all. So thank you.
How did that happen?
I don't know. I opened the door for everyone to call each other's hypocrisies out. I tried to target it at me. It just ended. We all just ended up talking a lot of shit about Wade.
Well, I'm an easy target. It makes sense.
I don't know how that happens, but that does consistently happen. I feel like we owe you an apology or something. I don't know. I'm not going to apologize, but I just, I have that feeling in the back of my mind, you know?
Subwedded.
Yeah, no, they never have your back. Anyway, thank you for your winner speech, Mark. That's the end of the episode. Make sure you check out Markiplier on YouTube and other places. Lord Minion777 or Minion777 on Twitch. I am MySkirm on YouTube, Twitch, other places. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, my host, for joining. We have merch. Store.distractible fucking shit ass. Store.distractablepodcast.com to check out the merch. Hopefully it's restocked. It'll definitely be restocked real soon.
You know, I've never got any merch. I really want to get some merch, and I went to look, and I saw that the thing I wanted was out, so I hope it restocks too, because I want stuff.
It's all sold out.
Well, I gotta call somebody about that, probably.
Yeah, call our person, our person.
Thank you for watching this episode, and you know what? Thanks for listening too. If you don't watch, if you can't watch, if you do something else while you listen, we do appreciate you. We just appreciate people who watch the videos on Spotify a little bit more.
You can see my thigh.
You can.
I'll show you again.
You missed it. Oh, there it is again. And on that pasty white note, that's the end. Podcast out.